The salt spray kissed his face. Not the harsh sting of the open ocean, but a gentle, almost sweet mist carried on a breeze that hummed with contentment. Arthur Curry, the Aquaman, stood on a sun-drenched beach, the golden light illuminating a scene that had once been the most heartbreaking of his unfulfilled dreams. Beside him, his parents, Thomas and Atlanta, sat on a driftwood log, their hands clasped, their laughter echoing like a forgotten melody. They were young again, their faces unmarred by the years of separation and sorrow. Further down the sand, a figure was building a magnificent sandcastle, its turrets reaching for the cerulean sky. It was Andy, his daughter, all grown up, vibrant and safe, her laughter a bell-like sound that seemed to chase away every shadow from his life. In this world, the Atlantean throne was not a burden, but a legacy gracefully passed. Mara was not lost to the darkness, and the weight of the world did not rest on his shoulders. Here, there was only peace, only love, only an unending, perfect quietude. It was a world spun from his deepest desires, a sanctuary from every ache and every scar. And for a time, Arthur had simply existed within it. He swam through coral gardens, brighter than any he'd ever known, dined with a family whole and unbroken, and watched his daughter thrive. There were no crises, no threats, no impossible choices. There was no duty, no urgency, no pain. And that, precisely, was the whisper that began to pierce the perfection, a faint, persistent note of discord. How could there be no pain when he knew, deep in his very being, the sharpness of it? How could there be no duty when the universe itself was always in flux, always demanding vigilance? This perfect world, he slowly realized, was too perfect. It was a gilded cage, a beautiful lie. He looked at his parents, their faces ageless, their love uncomplicated. He looked at Andy, her eyes sparkling with unburdened joy. Every fiber of his being yearned to cling to this illusion, to wrap himself in its comforting embrace. To choose this would be to choose a life free of the crushing weight of responsibility, free of loss, free of the constant battle against overwhelming odds. It would mean never again feeling the searing grief of losing Mara, never again carrying the burden of Atlantis, never again facing the terrifying void of a universe that always seemed on the brink of collapse. But the price of that peace, he understood, was his very self. The Arthur Curry who stood on that beach, the Aquaman of the Justice League, was forged in struggle, defined by sacrifice, and driven by an unwavering commitment to protect. The man in this perfect world was not truly him. He was a shadow, a memory, a dream kept alive by a powerful, malevolent force. Pariah, he knew, was watching, a silent, unseen jailer, offering the ultimate temptation, endless bliss in exchange for surrender. The choice was not between good and evil, but between a profound personal happiness and a difficult, necessary truth. It was between the comforting fantasy and the brutal reality that demanded his return. He closed his eyes, and for a moment, he let the true pain wash over him. The cold darkness of the deep, the crushing pressure of responsibility, the echoes of battles fought and friends lost, the raw ache of his daughter's true fate, a future denied. That pain, that very brokenness, was real. It was his, and he would not trade it for a lie, no matter how beautiful. With a deep, shuddering breath, Arthur opened his eyes. The vibrant colors of the beach seemed to waver. The gentle breeze carried a chill. He looked at his parents one last time, a silent farewell to the impossible dream they represented. He looked at Andy, her laughter now seeming distant, an echo from a path not taken. A single tear tracked a path down his cheek, not of sorrow for what he was losing, but of acceptance for what he was choosing. He was choosing the fractured world, the imperfect reality, because that was where his duty lay, where his truest self resided. He would walk away from the warmth, from the light, from the only world where his family was whole. He would choose the chaos of the maelstrom over the serenity of this paradise. This was not a choice made lightly. It was a profound act of self-definition.
He turned his back on the shimmering beach, the sounds of laughter fading, the perfect sun dimming. The sand beneath his feet grew coarse, the air sharp with a familiar metallic tang, the scent of his own true ocean. The illusion shattered around him like fragile glass, revealing the true landscape of his imprisonment, a desolate, featureless void, shimmering with malevolent energies. And there, looming before him, was Pariah, the orchestrator of this insidious prison, his form radiating an eerie satisfaction. He had expected Arthur to break, to succumb to the lure of his heart's deepest desires. He had expected him to embrace the cage, to believe the lie. But Aquaman stood tall, unbound, his gaze unflinching. The weight of the real world, the burdens he had consciously chosen to reclaim, settled back upon him, not as an oppressive force, but as a renewed source of power. He was bruised, perhaps, by the seductive fantasy, but he was not broken. He was resolved. And then his voice, calm but resonating with the very force of his indomitable will, cut through the silence of the void. It wasn't a plea nor a question, but a declaration. He looked directly into the eyes of his captor, the being who had dared to toy with his deepest longings, and stated with chilling clarity, "I will escape, and I will make you pay." This was the ultimate act of heroism, not merely a display of physical strength, but a profound demonstration of inner fortitude. Aquaman, the King of Atlantis, the reluctant hero, chose a broken, painful reality over a perfect, painless lie. He chose duty over desire, truth over tranquility. His willingness to reject his own idealized happiness for the sake of the greater good, for the sake of a universe that needed him, was a testament to the unyielding spirit of a hero who refused to be caged, who understood that true freedom was found not in comfort, but in conscience. In a world where we often seek the path of least resistance, Aquaman's choice reminds us that true strength lies in facing our most difficult truths, embracing the imperfections of our reality, and choosing our responsibilities even when they come at a profound personal cost. It's a powerful narrative about finding heroism not just in victory, but in the unwavering decision to stand for what is real, no matter how challenging that reality might be. What do you think of Aquaman's choice? Has there been a moment in your own life where you had to choose a difficult truth over a comfortable illusion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this reflection meaningful, please consider subscribing or following for more stories that delve into the heart of heroism.